afternoon, everyone. My today's presentation from the paper "A History of English Literature" is about is a comparison between or a difference between the Victorianism and modernism. This is my information. These are the table of contents, introduction, societal difference, literary difference, and conclusion. Introduction. A Victorian period is considered to be the period in which the Queen Victoria ruled. Then modern period the is beginning of 20th century and the ending of 19th century. We have noticed and read, we noticed that in the beginning of 20th century there was progress in technology, scientific revolution was going on, globalization was increasing, and it is considered to be an ever accelerating progress. In no such progress was noticed or recorded before this period. The modern period is having the ever accelerating progress along with the two major wars, which are World War One and World War Two. Into the glossary of literary terms, M.H. Abraham has recorded Victorianism is frequently used in a derogatory way to connote narrow-mindedness, sexual prejudice, the determination to maintain feminine innocence, that is, sexual ignorance, and the emphasis is on social respectability. Societal difference. The people of Victorian age were considered to be the gullible. They were people who could be easily controlled under. They used to come under the voice or control of authority and society dictates. They were easy to be binded in anything. They can be controlled through words. They were driven towards the activity what authority was thinking them to do. The major change we see from Victorian to the modern age is changes in thoughts and emotions. Young society looked at Victorian age as a dull, hypocritical, and thought them to be a superficial, stupid, and hideous. The post-Victorian period was considered to be submitted to the rules of expert. For them, the voice of authority was main, even if it is a religious place or a literature or in a family life also. Victorian society considered them to be a permanent. They thought that what is the situation in the world during the reign of Victoria is permanent. They are white people. They are made to rule the world by the God. They are selected by the God to rule the world, and this is the permanent. No change will come. This was the ideology of Victorian society. They built the house of unshakable foundations. But as the young age came, they started questioning their parents, their grandparents, started believing in the descent of man by Darwin instead of the religious book. The idea of permanence in the institution started breaking. They started moving out of houses. Even in the domestic place, the young children started moving out of home instead of staying in a societal structure of family with parents and with grandparents. They started moving out for studies, for their work, and even if you see in a international level, they were breaking the rules that they are only the one to rule. They were questioning their own family, their own authority, their own grandparents, and this and also the Bernard Shaw gave the watchwords to this creed, that is question, examine, and test. All this came due to the growth of restless desire to probe and question. A huge Holman has said, modernism is a strong and conscious break with traditional forms and techniques of expression. Modern implies a historical discontinuity, a sense of alignment, of loss, and of despair. If not only rejects history, but also the society of whose fabrication history is a record. Now, looking at the literary difference, Victorian age and modern age, both the era have made an impact to take the people to make people look towards the literature in a different way. But still, there is very much difference in their themes, subject, purposes of writing, and techniques. In Victorian era, the literature was written about the upper social class, talking about the economy. Like we have seen in Oscar Wilde's The Importance of Being Earnest, upper class societies discussed more. Charles Dickens' Hard Times, the scenario of aristocratic upper class societies, we are seeing more. Even in the Thomas Hardy's Jude the Obscure, we see that how the upper class is ruling and lower class is not allowed. There we see the class difference more. The themes in Victorian literature are majorly cultural identity, domesticity, imperialism, industrialization, class, science, progress, nostalgia, the women question, and utilitarianism. They were more embraced to the traditional life. We can see the traditional life they were following was which was we have read in Pride and Prejudice. The girls are meant to marry, men are meant to go out for earning. Such traditional values and forms were followed in Victorian era. While in the modern literature is showing the what actual world is looking, the reality of world is seen in the modern literature. It reflects the disillusionment, alignment, everything what which was faced or felt by the world during the time of World War. The themes are loss and despair, political destruction, individualism, experimentation, absurdity, symbolism, and formalism, which we have seen in the novels which we have discussed. That is the Great Gatsby, where we find that how individualism is seen in the character of Gatsby, for whom the bell tolls. We see the loss and despair, the war, the atmosphere around the war which is created, that waiting for the border. We find the theory of existentialism. They don't know what they want to do, absurdity in their life. In Kazuo Ishiguro's The Situation, what happens to the artist or the characters who were present at the wartime, and after wartime what situation they had to face. In a conclusion, I would like to say that modernism is nothing but a reaction to Victorianism. Victorianism was very much repressing the society, repressing the younger generation with their ideals and practices, which started being questioned. And this, as the spring is pressed, and it then jumps. The same way happened in the modern age. The modern young people started questioning, and they came out. The Victorian age recedes in time. That is, the Victorian age comes and backthrow is happening in the Victorian age. If we see in the present time, the question arises in what age we are living, in a Victorian age or a modern age. Then at just in a mind, we can feel that the society is divided into two parts. A modern age, the people who are considered to be the business class people, or who are rich, they are living a modern life. They are having their individualistic lifestyle. Even in the domestic, in the family, children stay as they want. Family parents are as they want. They don't have any type of they are not asked to follow anything, that this is a society, you have to stay like this. And if we go in the middle class families or lower middle class families, they are asked, or they live in a societal structure of a family. Children are taught how to respect elders, which is the structure which we see majorly in a Victorian era than modern era. So we are in 22nd century, but we are not out. We are still living the Victorian age, which we feel, and the modern age is also present along with us. These are my readings, which I have read. These are my works cited. Thank you.
So, Zil, my question is, as you said that Victorian people used to believe that they are existing to rule over other and they are the superior one. So, what are the major reasons behind this?
The major reason I feel that they are thinking them to be a permanent ruler is, if we read the history, and we have read that Britishers came colonized all over the world, and when those when the generation in the Victorian age came, they were already ruling. Their ancestors were who colonized. Their grandparents and parents colonized, and they started thinking that this is my place. I have been. Suppose we are living in a family, or we it is a monarchy. Someone has fought against the king and set up himself as something, and when that person's child will come, he will start feeling that no, no, this is mine only, it was my father's, it is mine. He won't understand what happened to his father or the people who are under rule. He won't understand. He will start saying that this is mine, this is mine. I feel this thing happened with the people of Victorian society, that they started feeling that this is what, with the birth they were having, the colonized society, they were ruling over the many parts in the world. So that is what I think, they started feeling that this is a permanent thing going to be, because we are with this and we have born with this.
Sir, can I ask, is there any similarity between modernism and Victorianism?
Till what I have discussed and read, I don't find any major similarity, because it is an, as we discussed, it was an ever accelerating progress. A drastic change came between both this period. And even if we read history as we are learning in that history, or in the literature also, there is a drastic change in both the literature of both the eras. The Victorian was talking about their life, personal, and what was good in their society, while modernism was talking about what it needs to be improved, what is bad in the society. So I don't find any major similarity, but we find a drastic change between them.